All right, let's talk about job number 5. I'm going to change this to job number 5 here, and we're going to add in a second light. Now, we could add in 10 lights for all I care, but in this scenario, we're just going to add in a second light to identify how we're going to add in another light right here. So, we're going to add in another 14, 2 with ground. Now, up here, basically I've already drawn it with job number 3, and what you're going to do is it's just going to be another light. So let's label those. Brass, which is our supply, silver, which is our return. And I'm not going to draw the box in here, but you're going to get the point. So we have a black, we have a white, we have a ground. Let's get in another gang box, so we'll throw something in here. All right. So, coming back to this second light here, what we're going to need to do is we're going to erase, well, we'll just kind of change it up. It's going to be a moret. So what we want to do is we want to actually have constant power coming from our single pole switch to both this light and this light. We don't want to hook it up in series. We want to hook it up in parallel. We want to have 2 paths for it. If a light was to burn out, we always want to have both lights having power to it. And so in this scenario, we're going to have constant power from the single pole switch coming in on a black right here. And then this one is actually going to be a scrap piece of wire. Okay, so that's going to be 6 inches or so long. And then our second cable coming into the next one is going to be our full cable, which is going to take power to the brass there. Now, if you look at it, power coming from the service panel comes into the single pole switch. It's going to go through the single pole switch, and then it's going to go up into this moret, and then it's going to have constant power to here, and it's going to split off into 2 directions. Here's the one path, and here's the second path, right? So that's where the parallel comes in, and then there's the return path all the way home, and we have power coming in here, and then on our return path, we're literally just going to be hooking this up, but can't go into there. We're actually going to be switching it up, so we're going to have 1, 2, and this wire right here is going to be our scrap wire, another 6-inch long piece. So 1, 2, 3 wires into morets like so, and that is going to be how you add in lights, and every other light would just continue to be added in just like that. If you were to do a third light, a fourth, a fifth, the end of run is always going to be the end of run and terminate like this, but all your middle of runs are going to be like this. And then with your ground, we obviously need to change it up. So as you could come up here and you could ground it out to there. These lights that you're going to be working with don't have a ground on it because they're plastic. If they were metal, then you would obviously need to tie it in, and so therefore it's good to have practice to come into a wire nut. So we're going to ground it out, bring it into a moret like that so that it'll join up in a moret like so. And if you did have a light that had a ground, then you would just literally bring in your ground from the light and then moret it in here, and then you would have a complete path both to ground out the box and take it all the way back to the service panel, ground out the light, and then everything downstream and back to the service panel. But at the end of the run, all we need to do is ground it out here. If you did have a ground in here, well, you just ground it out like that. But in this scenario, these lights don't have a ground. We'll be working with lights in grade 11 that have grounds going to them, but it'll just be like this. So I hope that makes sense, and that is adding in another light for job number 5. So hopefully that's enough to keep you guys busy.